And then there was other things which I don't particularly care about. And then the whole thing was Seth and Punk and Sami. We'll talk about that because Sami was in the back. He's going to have an Elimination Chamber qualifying match tonight with CM Punk, the first time they've ever wrestled, apparently legitimately in their careers. And he was talking about that for a second. He said, "Oh, wait a minute, I need to talk to somebody." And he walks across the backstage area, and it's Jey Uso. And he hovers up next to Jey, and the people are, is there tension? Is there heat? I can feel it. And he grabs him and gives him a big hug. "I'm sorry I kicked you in the Rumble or wherever it was. And it was an accident." And Sami gave him a pep talk. You know, you got to go out there and do it for yourself. We love you and you're great to blah. Because Sammy's the reconciliator. Reconciliator? What? He's the person that wants to bring everybody together and reconcile their differences. And then Karrion Kross walked in and started talking to him, and I quit paying attention. Well, I mean, isn't that generally the normal response? You know, oh, this fucking guy again. I don't know. Maybe he'd be a babyface against Charlotte, though.
Let's see what happens.
And then Punk, later on in the back, responded that he didn't win the Royal Rumble, but neither did Roman and neither did Seth. And I apologize in advance to Sami Zayn, but I'm going to go to the Elimination Chamber tonight at his expense. And now Roman is injured and out for the foreseeable future, is what they're saying. So is he the last man to enter the Elimination Chamber? Or what's going to go on with Roman?
I mean, that's part of the story. Again, it's all Game of Thrones like. Everyone wants the throne. Everyone wants the belt. There are multiple people who want the belt either for the main event position at WrestleMania or just to be the champion again. And Roman is not giving up on that belt. So you got to figure between now and WrestleMania, he has to get back into the picture, or at least trying to hunt for it. That makes sense, the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. And also another cliffhanger. But speaking of people who should be hanging off a cliff, so Seth Franklin Rollins came to the ring in a black leather cowboy outfit. He looked like Trish Stratus without the proper chest development. And they did the deal where he made his entrance and everybody's, whoa! And they go to the break, and by the time they came back from a break and they went to backstage and they went to a plug and they went to this and that, they may have gone to another break. He had to have been out there for 10 minutes by the time they came back to the actual ring. And what do they do with even a guy as big a star as Seth Rollins? How do they have him stand out there for 10 minutes? Does he go away somewhere? One of the live event members of the Cult of Cornette, please chime in on this. Is he just stand there in the corner like, oh, God damn it, it won't fucking come back to me. What the fuck? So he had a lot of shit to get off his chest. And he is happy for Jey Uso because he wants to see people get what they deserve. And Jey deserved that. Just like Punk. I love seeing him get embarrassed. He lost the Rumble. And Roman, he lost, and he may not make it to Mania at all because he's hurt, and I'm the one who hurt him. I love people to get what they deserve. And I lost the Rumble. That hurts, but there's still the Elimination Chamber. And old Sami Zayn better take care of his business tonight. As a matter of fact, I need to talk to him. So he brings out Sami Zayn. And Seth gives him the pitch that he needs to beat Punk tonight. And all the reason, he said you weren't on his level, Sami. But it's your night. He gave him the pep talk. Put his dream of WrestleMania in the dirt for good and go to the Elimination Chamber and fight me. I'm going to be there. And as he's making this pitch to Sami, who of course is, standing there non-committal, he finally gets to that part, and suddenly you're like a Mussolini coming out early. Because here comes Punk, and he's like, what the fuck's going on? As he's coming down the aisle, Seth says, fuck it, and jumps out and goes to meet him, and Referees are in between them and they're separating them in the aisleway. There's bad blood and horrible feelings. The mixed emotions between these two. But then Punk goes to the ring. Sami is in the ring. And the first time ever we got Punk and Sami. But now again, Seth is trying to convince Sami to fuck with Punk, even though Sami and Jay and everybody, they're all happy with each other until somebody stirs the pot here. And then we had, imagine this, a wrestling match where they started with a lockup. They did headlocks and takeovers. I mean, they did a couple of spots. It was refreshing to see wrestling on a wrestling program. And then the tempers flared and they started pie-facing each other. And then they started laying in the chops, but it wasn't the indie level stand here and you hit me and then I'll hit you. It was, they were blistering each other and they were selling them. And Sami works well in the environment like Rey Mysterio, where he's selling and fighting from underneath. And then he'll fight back and he'll pummel Punk, but then Punk will fight back. And at one point, you know, they had CM Punk chants. At another point, they had Sami chants. And here, one thing, did you have the video glitches? I saw on Twitter I was not alone, but...
No, I had them. I watched live, and they were all throughout the night, but especially there was a moment here in this match where it was pretty frequent.
Yeah, and that was network transmission from Cleveland then, right? Because if Netflix's signal live was going out and doing that, then they would have been able to fix it on the replay. It had to be the signal they were getting. So,
do you think Tony Khan has sent the plant like into the truck? We had the audio issues the other day where all of a sudden we get the Spanish feed. Now the regular feed is just cutting out. Very AEW like.
Well, no, the Spanish feed was on the pay-per-view, right?
No, Saturday night's main event.
Saturday night's main event. That's right. That is because it's NBC. It's not their regular network. That I can believe may have been something at Master Control, and they couldn't figure it out until they figured it out. This was not a mistake that they made in the truck and feeding audio to the wrong place or not going to the right video, whatever. This was just going black and breaking up. That's why I'm thinking somehow there was a problem in the transmission between Cleveland and wherever the Netflix network receives its shows to fucking put them out. But it was hard to follow for a minute. But anyway, Sami hit the Blue Thunder, got a 2 count, and they chanted, "This is awesome." And Punk had been working Sami's bad left arm through the match and hit a divorce cord on it like Bobby Eaton. And got the Anaconda Vice, and the people are chanting "Sami, Sami," and then Sami squirmed to the ropes and got the rope with his foot and got a pop for a rope break. Imagine what you can do when you're having a wrestling match. And then they had "Let's Go Sami, CM Punk." And boom, some more 2 counts and false finishes, and the fans were screaming. And finally, Sami hit that, what do they call it? The exploder suplex in the corner and milked the kick. And as he went for the kick, Punk scooped him and hit the fucking go to sleep 1, 2, 3 and got a big pop. And it was a great wrestling match because it was refreshing that it wasn't the same shit that everybody does. And the people were into it. And then we've established that the Elimination Chamber will be CM Punk, John Cena, and 4 other folks to be named. And then, right as Punk is offering his hand to Sami, and Sami takes it, like, okay, we're going to put all this behind us. Owens comes from behind, out of nowhere, and nailed Sami from behind into Punk. And both of them went down. But instead of getting on Punk, he grabbed Sami and gave him the package pile driver. Boom. And as he landed, folded up, and boop, then we go off the air. So now Owens has turned on Sami again. Boy, Sami's a forgiving guy, isn't he, Brian? How many times does a son of a bitch over a 15-year period have to stab you in the back? Isn't this 4 now?
It's been maybe more than that if you go back to the Indies.
Well, counting Ring of Honor, it's at least 4.
We said it a few weeks ago. You got to figure out at some point in their career, and they're not getting younger, they're going to want their crazy WrestleMania match. They've been working against each other their entire lives. They only wanted to work against each other at various times. They came into the business together. The only thing they don't have is a Kevin Steen, El Generico, balls to the wall WrestleMania match.
Well, now their balls will be taped up to the wall. I predict that. I predict we're going to see Steen and Generico part 37.
And what's going to happen between now and then? Because CM Punk obviously has an issue. Someone bumped into him and knocked him out of the ring.
I think he'd be more than happy to be bumped and knocked out of that whole program. If he could just take a bump past the ropes, past the apron, and all the way to the locker room, okay, you guys finish.
Well, that was WWE Raw.